Hello everybody. If you want to read all the stories in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you. This story is a sequel to short story 420. Short story 421, The Secret of the Box, Intermediate. Emily Carter couldn't sleep that night. The empty cottage, the note from Thomas Gray, and the mystery of the missing key kept spinning in her mind. She sat by her window, watching the moonlight up the quiet streets of Little Hampden. It was Saturday, October 21st, and the village seemed peaceful, but Emily knew something was wrong. Thomas had vanished, and she couldn't shake the feeling that the key and its secrets were closer than she thought. The next morning, Emily decided to act. She put on her coat, grabbed a torch, and drove back to Thomas's cottage. The door was still unlocked, swaying slightly in the breeze. Inside, the air was cold and still. She looked around, hoping to find a clue. The note was still on the table. "Emily, don't look for me. The key is lost. Save yourself." But something about it felt off. Why would Thomas leave so suddenly? And why warn her to stop? Emily searched the cottage. She checked drawers, shelves, and even under the rug. Then in the kitchen she noticed a loose floorboard near the stove. Her heart raced as she knelt down and lifted it. Underneath was a small metal box, rusted at the edges. It had a lock that looked perfect for a small silver key with a red ribbon. "This must be it," she whispered. But without the key, the box stayed shut. She took the box back to her flat above the library. Sitting at her desk, she examined it closely. The box was old, with strange markings scratched into the lid. Symbols she didn't understand. She tried to pry it open with a screwdriver, but it wouldn't budge. Frustrated, she leaned back in her chair. "If only I had that key," she muttered. That afternoon, Emily went to the library. She wanted to research the symbols on the box. She pulled history books from the shelves and started reading. Hours passed, and then she found something. A picture of an old manor house called Hampden Hall, built in the 1700s. The book said it belonged to a wealthy family, the Greys, who had hidden treasures in secret rooms. "The Greys," Emily said aloud. "Thomas Gray. It can't be a coincidence." She remembered what Mrs. Pepel had told her. Thomas once worked for a rich family with a hidden room. Could Hampden Hall be the key to this mystery? The manor was abandoned now, just a ruin at the edge of the village. Emily decided she had to go there. That evening she drove to Hampden Hall. The old house loomed in the dusk, its broken windows like dark eyes. Weeds grew tall around the walls, and the air smelled of damp earth. With her torch in hand, Emily stepped inside. The floor creaked under her boots, and dust floated in the beam of light. She searched room after room, empty fireplaces, peeling wallpaper, broken furniture. Then, in the library of the manor, she saw it, a bookshelf that looked out of place, pushed slightly forward. Emily pulled at the shelf. It moved, revealing a hidden door. Her hand shook as she opened it. Behind was a small room lit by a single candle flickering on a table. And there on the table was the silver key with the red ribbon. "How?" she gasped. Before she could think, she heard footsteps behind her. She turned, shining her torch. It was Thomas Gray, his face pale but determined. "Emily," he said, "you shouldn't have come." "You disappeared," she shouted. "What's going on?" Thomas sighed. "I didn't want you involved. That night at the library, someone followed me. They stole the key and came here. I've been hiding, waiting for them to leave." "Who are they?" Emily asked. "People who want what's in that box," Thomas said. "My family hid something valuable here centuries ago. Papers proving we owned land worth millions. Those men will kill to get it." Emily handed him the key. "Then open the box. Let's end this." Thomas unlocked it. Inside were old documents, yellowed with age, and a map. He smiled faintly. This could change everything. But then a shadow moved in the doorway. 2 men in dark coats stepped in, one holding a knife. "Give us the box," the taller man growled. Emily's heart pounded. She grabbed the candle and threw it at them. The flame caught the dry curtains and fire spread fast. "Run!" she yelled. She and Thomas bolted out of the room, the box in his hands as the men shouted behind them. They escaped into the night, the manor burning behind them. At the village police station, they handed over the box and told their story. The police caught the men, trapped by the fire. They couldn't escape. Days later, Thomas thanked Emily. "You're braver than I thought," he said. "This land is ours again, thanks to you." Emily smiled. The mystery was solved, but she knew little Hampden would never feel quite the same. Vocabulary notes. Vanished. Verb. Definition. Disappeared suddenly and completely, leaving no trace. Example. Thomas had vanished, and she couldn't shake the feeling that the key and its secrets were closer than she thought. Explanation. Thomas disappeared from his cottage without warning, making Emily wonder where he went and why. Similar words. Disappeared. Went out of sight suddenly. E.g., the cat disappeared into the bushes. Fled. Ran away quickly. E.g., he fled the house when the alarm sounded. Evaporated. Vanished like mist. E.g., her hopes evaporated after the news. Loose. Adjective. Definition. Not fixed in place, able to move or be moved easily. Example. Then, in the kitchen, she noticed a loose floorboard near the stove. Explanation. The floorboard wasn't secure, allowing Emily to lift it and find the hidden box underneath. Similar words. Unfixed. Not attached firmly. E.g., the unfixed shelf wobbled. Wobbly. Unsteady or shaky. E.g., the wobbly chair needed repair. Slack. Not tight. E.g., the rope was slack and easy to pull. Pry. Verb. Definition. To try to open something with force, often using a tool. Example. She tried to pry it open with a screwdriver, but it wouldn't budge. Explanation. Emily attempts to force the box open using a screwdriver, but it stays closed because she doesn't have the key. Similar words. Force. Push or pull strongly. E.g., he forced the door open with his shoulder. Lever. Use a tool to lift or move. E.g., she levered the lid off with a stick. Open. Gain access to. E.g., he opened the jar with effort. Budge. Verb. Definition. To move slightly, especially after effort, or to refuse to move at all, often used negatively. Example. She tried to pry it open with a screwdriver, but it wouldn't budge. Explanation. The box doesn't move or open despite Emily's attempts, showing it's firmly locked. Similar words. Shift. Move a little. E.g., the heavy table wouldn't shift. Stir. Move slightly. E.g., he didn't stir from his chair. Yield. Give way under pressure. E.g., the lock wouldn't yield. Loomed. Verb. Definition. Appeared large and threatening, often in a vague or shadowy way. Example. That evening she drove to Hampden Hall. The old house loomed in the dusk, its broken windows like dark eyes. Explanation. The manor house looks big and intimidating in the fading light, adding to the eerie mood. Similar words. Towered. Stood tall and imposing. E.g., the castle towered over the village. Hovered. Hung over ominously. E.g., dark clouds hovered above. Emerged. Came into view slowly. E.g., the figure emerged from the fog. Flickering. Verb. Adjective. Definition. shining or burning unsteadily with light that goes on and off quickly. Example, behind was a small room lit by a single candle flickering on a table. Explanation, the candle's light moves and changes, creating an unsteady glow in the hidden room. Similar words, fluttering, moving lightly and quickly, e.g. the flame was fluttering in the wind. Glimmering, shining faintly, e.g. stars were glimmering in the sky. Wavering, unsteady or shaking, e.g. the wavering light made shadows dance. Bolted, verb, definition, ran away suddenly and quickly, often in fear or urgency. Example, she and Thomas bolted out of the room, the box in his hands as the men shouted behind them. Explanation, Emily and Thomas escaped rapidly from the burning room to avoid danger. Similar words, dashed, ran quickly, e.g. she dashed to the door. Rushed, moved with speed, e.g. he rushed out of the house. Fled, escaped hurriedly, e.g. they fled the burning building. Story written by Grok 3 AI. Image created by Designer AI. To read all the stories in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you.